area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. The springtime is often a season of increased crime in rural communities as more people can be mobile, free of the elements. Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers is reminding people to lock those car doors. With more people able to be out, it is this time of year when they encounter a spike in theft of motor vehicles.
'Tis the season, and as we're talking about the warmer weather, the longer days, things, a lot more outdoor activity going on, a lot more pedestrian traffic, motorcycle traffic, bicycle traffic, things of that nature. And we just remind people as they're coming out of those winter blues and, getting outside to enjoy the outdoors, that they're cognizant about things around them. That again, that pedestrian, motorcycle, bicycle traffic, kids playing outside. Something that I probably complain about we don't do enough of, but love to see those kids outside getting some fresh air, getting dirty, wearing themselves down, but with that, that pedestrian traffic at all hours of day and night, it's not as suspicious now as it is in the middle of the bitter cold winter time, but keeping those vehicles locked. We've been fortunate. We've not had a serious rash of car burglaries for quite some time, and we don't want to start that now. So
Chief Lowers indicates they do not often encounter circumstances of forced entry to vehicles, but rather these are often crimes of opportunity, people looking for those unlocked cars.
Make sure you're removing those valuables from your vehicles and keeping them locked. It's been some time since we've had an actual forced burglary to a vehicle, and we want to keep it that way. Oftentimes, it is more so, I hate to say a crime of opportunity because nobody's inviting a would-be burglar into their unlocked vehicle. But, we do have individuals from time to time that are lurking out there in the middle of the night. They're checking vehicles through residential neighborhoods. And when they come across an unlocked vehicle, they're taking change out of a console or a checkbook or a purse or whatever. So remove those belongings, those valuables from your vehicles, and make sure you keep them locked. Keep them in well-lit areas if that you can. We love security lights and automatic lights that come on in the dark due to motion.
Local authorities are also seeing increased encounters with loose pets. Chief Lowers reminds there is a leash law in Clinton.
The other thing that we always talk about, and I want to touch on because we have just experienced this just in the last week or so, but it is the increase in loose pets. We have a leash law in the city of Clinton, and we ask people with the additional bicycle and pedestrian traffic, those things are more noticed, and we're getting more calls about that when, we have dogs running at large and things of that nature. So keep your pets contained and keep your things locked up. Kind of a broken record that we talk about every year this time, but this kind of becomes the busiest time of year for us historically, as people get out, as I say, kind of get out and start stretching their wings from a long winter.
With nicer weather will also come gatherings in residential neighborhoods. Chief Lowers always reminds to be a good neighbor by being respectful of your neighbors around you. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, more precipitation on the way to close out April. A Central Illinois school district is hoping to utilize extensive green space on its campus for outdoor learning opportunities. DeLand-Weldon School's Superintendent Dr. Michael Tresnick indicates that one of their middle school science teachers, Janelle Harper, has been pursuing funding to help the district develop an outdoor space that she and other educators can use to supplement their lessons and promote being outside.
One of our teachers, Janelle Harper, who's a science teacher in the middle school, has been aggressively pursuing various grants out there, talking to various organizations, and we're trying to establish an outdoor learning ed area, but also just looking for those of you who are drive on Route 10 and drive by DeLand-Weldon, you notice we have a lot of green space. We have a lot that we would like to work with and not just have grass growing there, but have other things growing and try to give opportunities for kids to get outside and experience different educational things. So one of the things, we're going to be building a pavilion that's been donated by the Farm Bureau. We're working both with Piatt County and DeWitt County to get that taken care of. But we're also looking at, again, all the green space. So, for instance, yesterday we had a donation of trees. And so our kids were out there with shovels digging holes, and we were planting trees on the back area of the lot. Hopefully in the long term, as those trees grow in, they'll help be a little bit of a windbreak. Getting out there are really not that many trees, and that helps. And when the wind really starts blowing, there's nothing to stop it. We're going to be doing that.
In this effort, the district invited conservation experts to help them plan out what and where they can plant to develop their green space. Dr. Tresnick reminds that students will be involved in the process to give them a sense of ownership over the project.
We had some representatives from the Piatt County Forest Preserve stop by yesterday, and we talked through, they stopped by on Tuesday, and we were talking about some different options there, planting some prairie grass in areas, and also pollinator areas to kind of grow those type areas. Again, have the kids involved with this, have them see how these areas grow and how it actually helps our wildlife, how it helps our bees and everything like that. Today, I believe a representative from Pheasants Forever is coming out, and we're going to look at some of our space and can we, build an area that's for pheasants that pheasants might come into. For those of you who have been on the North Fork of the Clinton Lake, there is a Pheasants Forever plot over there. And I know the last time I drove by there, you could see the pheasants in there. I mean, it was great to see because this area, we haven't seen pheasants as much.
Right.
And so we can bring some of those things into play on our space, on our property. That's just another opportunity for kids to learn.
Reinstating FFA and agricultural education in the district has been a recent focus, and Dr. Tresnick says this will be a big help in that effort. He has dreams of a greenhouse being built in the future, but adds that even landscaping practices can be a part of FFA.
I see it integrating completely with that program. One thing you look at landscaping and some of those ideas is something that's out there that kids get into. Well, that can be part of FFA, and we can start teaching the kids a little bit about that. I have a long-term plan. I think I've brought it up here before. I want to get a greenhouse put in there, buy that building, which would be where we would start some of these plantings, and then the kids could see us take it from the greenhouse and put it out in these plots as 100%. We're trying to build those plots. But the connection there to FFA is great. I mean, we start talking botany and how to grow these plants. Sustainable gardening is something that we've talked about, and getting all those pieces and parts together. So I see all this fitting together. What's exciting about this is that we're looking at this K-12. So we're going to involve kindergarten, even our pre-K program. All of them can be involved in what we're doing in some aspect of it. And I think that's exciting. And again, getting kids out of the classroom, getting them outside, especially this time of year when they start seeing that's warming up. It's going to be 70 today. These are the type of days, hey, let's get outside and let's do something that is really educationally strong.
This project is already turning from dream into reality, with a new pavilion set to be installed by contractors by the end of April. By the end of the school year will be a new shed in the space. Dr. Tresnick notes that they will have to be patient as the plants grow in on their own time.
It's a mix of all of that. To start with, at the end of this month, we will be putting in the pavilion. Now, that will all be done by contractors, so our kids obviously won't be doing that. It'll be just a straight pavilion. It's not going to be enclosed, but it'll be a covered area. We'll have a concrete pad underneath. We're going to put some lighting in it, and we'll also have a sidewalk to get to it. So we'll have that area
Mhm.
built out. Where the Clinton High School Industrial Technology Department is building a shed for us that the Witt County Farm Bureau is
Mhm.
helping pay for,
Mhm.
and that's going to get delivered probably by the end of the school year.
Mhm.
And we have a space for that, and that shed will have like all of the shovels and things like that that we need, so that kids can go out and work on these spaces.
Mhm.
And then we'll start planting these plots.
Mhm.
The issue is, as you start learning about these things, you find out that prairie grass takes its sweet time in coming
Mhm.
in. So, like, we planted some stuff 2 years ago that hasn't come in yet. What I'm
Wow.
learning is some of those seeds go dormant. And if you think about the drought we had last year,
Mhm.
so some of them just kind of go dormant. So we might not see anything for a couple of years. So we're going to
Oh.
have to be patient. Some
Wow.
things will come in fast. Like, we're going to probably put in area sunflowers. Those will come in
Cool.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
But that also will attract a lot of your pollinators. It
Mhm.
also is going to, and we're just going to leave them up. We're going to let
Mhm.
them die out, and that will bring in a lot of the birds. They'll just be coming in to get those sunflowers.
Dr. Tresnick is grateful to all of the groups from the DeWitt and Piatt County Farm Bureaus to the Clinton High School Industrial Tech Department who have helped them get this project moving. Learn more about DeLand-Weldon schools by visiting dwschools.org or by finding the district on Facebook. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Spring is in the air, so it's time to choose your new Silverado. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have a good selection of new Silverados with springtime savings and special finance rates. Choose from regular cabs, double cabs, or crew cabs in gas or diesel. We're also allowing extra money for your trade on all new Silverados this month. Silverado, together let's drive. See all our inventory at bombchevybuick.com, right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 21 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. It's going to be a soggy finish to April in central Illinois. That's according to Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln, who told the Heart Media Group there is an indication the end of April is going to be very wet.
Yeah, it switches back to above normal, and even the 6 to 10 days still has above normal temperatures in there. So even that brief cool down early next week, I wouldn't suspect that's going to last very long at all. Because the 20th to the 26th, 8 to 14 day outlook, solidly in the 50th to 60th percentile of above normal temperatures and above normal precip. So we have a short break in there when high pressure settles in Sunday, Monday, but it looks like they're going to have a few more storms coming back as we head into the late week into the following weekend. And then the 3 to 4 week outlook, that's where we finish out the month. April 25th through May 8th shows below normal just north of DeWitt County, actually all the way down to about Ice, Peoria, Bloomington, and north is below normal temps. So we're not going to be pegging the meter in the 80s probably as we finish out the month on a more frequent basis. And then above normal precip still in there for the end of the month, early start of May. So not a real strong signal there, just a little tip to the balance, 33 to 40% above normal precip probabilities there. But we should get some nice rainfall that's going to really take the drought out of the story almost, really. You can get this rain the rest of the month. If we get that much rain the rest of the month, we're really going to have very low areas of drought that are impactful at this point.
April is already above normal for precipitation, with more on the way. Easing the drought that lingered from a dry winter may just diminish.
We're above normal precip for April already. I mean, I plotted the Cocoa Raz summary April 1st to the 13th, and just north of DeWitt County, there's a 4.92, which, normal for the month is 4.25. So some areas already have their full monthly amount of rain. And in the DeWitt County area, our Cocoa Raz are about 2.5 inches. just shy of 2.5. So they're doing well. It's above normal on our climatology. We're about a ½ inch above normal at the Lincoln office, and that includes, looks like, roughly all the way through DeWitt County. So you're above normal in precip, and I think we're going to end up above normal pretty solidly, because we're going to get another couple inches of rain, out of the next week's storms, and then we remain above normal tendencies all the way through the end of the month. So I'd be surprised if we end this month and we're not, about an inch above normal, probably.
Wow.
Right now, the normal high is 63 and the normal low is 39 in this April, but at the end of the month, it's 70. The 70 is in there, and then 46. So
yeah,
it's pretty comfortable. 70 is nice. And then as you head into May, by the end of that first week, it's 72 and 49. So we're pretty regularly in the low 70s at that point. Low is right around 50.
The running joke of ever-changing weather in Illinois is largely due to competing air masses during this season of change. Shimon indicates it is why one day we can go from 70, even 80 degrees and drop into the 30s in just a matter of hours.
Sure, yeah, good question, because the wintertime jet stream is right across the central part of the country on a frequent basis. And in the transition time, that jet is going to start to shift back north again, and we're going to be under warmer conditions, and the cold air will be bottled up in Canada. But there's really cold air still not too far away in Canada, and there's really warm air in the southwest U.S. And that battles, and we're in the battleground. So as that jet stream is trying to oscillate back north and set up for the summer and give us those heat domes, we're in the battleground. And you can get a day where that jet stream buckles, and all of a sudden you got Canadians 40s, or you get a surge of a low pressure in the west coast, shoves that hot air right into the central plains, and you're dealing with 85s and 90s within a 2-day period. One day we were 80, and then we dropped to about in the 30s that night, 50 degrees in like 8 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of air masses that are so close together in this transition time of spring, and that's why the weather's so volatile. You can really generate some intense storms when the temperature differences of 30s and 40s and 90s are that close together.
The amount of daylight continues to increase each day in April as well. Shimon reminds the sun's energy will continue to warm the atmosphere the closer we get to May and June. We'll have more with him on the summer outlooks coming up for the next few days at the Hart Media Group. As farmers head into another farming season, Ameren, Illinois is encouraging rural residents to keep natural gas pipeline safety top of mind. Pipelines are buried across many fields and farm properties, and activities like tilling, fence building, or deep digging can pose serious risks if any of those lines are accidentally struck. Ameren, Illinois reminds farmers to always call 811 before starting any digging project, says the utility's John Bozarth.
Always call 811, also known as Julie in Illinois, before you dig. It's free, it's required by the law, and it allows utility companies like Ameren and others to mark the location of underground gas lines so the work can be done safely. In Illinois, the 811, the Julie law, requires at least 2 days notice so that you would call at least 2 days prior to wanting to dig. And that doesn't include the day of the call. So if I'm calling on Monday, I can expect to have the 2 days after that, the time that I can dig be made known. And that'll be communicated from the Julie Center as well. And again, that gives utilities enough time to mark their lines clearly, and then you know exactly what you're looking at when you're out there digging.
Key warning signs of damaged natural gas pipelines include a rotten egg or sulfur-like smell, blowing dirt or dust in a field, bubbling water in a pond or ditch, and hissing or roaring sounds near the ground. The Illinois Farm Bureau actively engaged Student of the Month for April is Carter Sowers. The senior from Lewistown High School in Fulton County serves as his school's FFA president, is a 3-sport athlete, participates in band and drama, and is on the Lewistown High School prevention team.
I think, you only live once, and I think if you're gonna, be on this planet, you might as well do as many things as you can while you're here. So I think that if I'm not living a full life, I'm not living a life. So I like to just be as active as I can, especially in my high school. You only get to do high school once. So I feel like if I can make those days as full as they can be, I figure I'm making the most out of them. And I'm also learning a lot more skills and having a lot more experiences than a person who's, sitting on the sidelines or just wanting to not put themselves out there. I think, if I'm only getting these opportunities once, I might as well take them.
To nominate a student for Illinois Farm Bureau Actively Engaged Student of the Month, visit farmweeknow.com/actively engaged. Now for your local obituaries. Dixie R. Blankenship, 89, of Clinton, passed away at 4:35 p.m. April 8th at Lincoln Village in Lincoln. Services will be 11 a.m. Wednesday, April 22nd at Weldon United Methodist Church in Weldon, with Reverend Gary Fairchild officiating. Burial will follow at Weldon Cemetery. There will be no visitation. Memorials may be directed to Traditions Hospice, Dove, or the Dixie Blankenship Memorial Fund. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The next round of U.S.-Iran peace talks could, according to President Trump, happen over the next day or two. Diplomats now working behind the scenes to arrange those discussions. They could be held in Islamabad again, or perhaps in Geneva this time. Israel and Lebanon have been talking, engaged in U.S.-mediated discussions in Washington, their first diplomatic talks in decades. The Lebanese government is hoping the discussions will lead to an end to the war, which has killed more than 2,000 people in Lebanon. Congressional Republicans pressing on with a go-it-alone strategy for fully funding the Department of Homeland Security, and a stubborn weather pattern is funneling hot air into the eastern U.S. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures down 50 points, and NASDAQ futures are off 18 points. More details at srnnews.com.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. The Fighting Illini secured a 16-4 run rule win over SIUE on Tuesday night at Illinois Field. The Orange and Blue jumped out to an early lead and never looked back en route to the 7-inning triumph. The hosts scored 14 runs across the first 2 innings, including 10 runs with 2 outs, as Illinois improved to 19-16 overall and 10-4 at home this season. The Illini hit a season-high 4 home runs in the contest, including 2 from A.J. Putty, who became the first Illinois freshman to hit multiple homers in a game since 2019. He ultimately went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. J.R. Nelson notched his second long ball of the year, which came in the bottom of the first, while Jack Zebig's solo shot to lead off the second was his 4th of the year. Nick Groves posted a 3 for 5 day at the plate while scoring twice, while Will Johannes went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 doubles. Zebig also totaled 4 RBIs. On the mound, Sam Reed recorded the start, going 2 innings while allowing only 1 hit, while Luke Weber logged the win across his 3 innings of work with 2 strikeouts. After Reed started the day with a 1-2-3 frame, the orange and blue offense responded with a 7-run effort in the bottom of the first. Zebig's sac fly opened the scoring, while Johannes cleared the bases with his 3-run 2-out double. 2 batters later, Nelson extended the Illini lead to 7-0 with his 2-run homer to left. The Cougars got on the board in the second, but Illinois found an answer once again via a 7-run second. Zebig and Putty went back-to-back to lead off the inning, with Putty's home run traveling 468 feet. Zebig and Putty each added another RBI in the frame via run-scoring singles, which gave the hosts a 14-1 edge through 2 innings. SIUE accounted for the game's next 3 runs before Putty tallied his second home run of the night in the bottom of the 5th. The Illini added 1 more run in the 6th, while the Illini bullpen combined to retire the final 8 Cougar hitters of the night to close out the run rule win. Shane McClanahan pitched 5 innings for his first win in nearly 3 years, and the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Chicago White Sox 8-5 on Tuesday night for their 4th straight victory.
The White Sox fell 8-5 to the Rays on Tuesday night at right field, but local kid Noah Schultz, who grew up in Aurora, making his major league debut, was the story of the night as he bounced back from a very nervy first inning to thrill nearly 500 friends and family members in attendance.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Schultz has his first major league strikeout. Check swing on a high one. He went. That's a strikeout. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 3rd strikeout for the lefty. Here's an 0-2. Called strike 3. And here comes the manager. So that'll be a good way to end your big league debut with a strikeout. Yep. And he'll get a great ovation when he walks off. He's hoping for a no decision. With fist bumps from his teammates.
The Sox look to bounce back on Wednesday night against the Rays. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 6 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
Tampa Bay's right-handed pitcher Jesse Schultz faces Chicago right-handed pitcher Sean Burke on Wednesday. Carson Kelly hit a 3-run homer. Colin Rea pitched 6 strong innings, and the Chicago Cubs rallied to beat the Philadelphia Phillies 10-4 on Tuesday night. Nico Horner and Alex Bregman each had 3 RBIs for the Cubs. Edmundo Sosa homered for the Phillies. Chicago broke a 3-all tie with 4 runs in the 6th inning off Tim Meza. Horner and Bregman each had 2-run singles in the inning, and the Cubs were aided by a Phillies miscue. After Meza put runners on first and second with 1 out with a walk and a hit batter, Dansby Swanson hit a hard grounder back to the pitcher that was a potential double play. Meza threw slightly off target to second base, and Bryson Stott could not make the catch. Stott was charged with a fielding error on the play. Instead of runners on first and second with 2 outs or an inning-ending play, Chicago had the bases loaded with 1 out. Horner made Philadelphia pay with a liner to center. After Brad Keller replaced Meza, Bregman knocked in 2 more runs. Rea followed opener Riley Martin, who worked a 1-2-3 first inning. He surrendered Sosa's 3-run homer to left center that gave the Phillies a 3-0 lead before retiring 16 of the next 17 batters, including 10 in a row to close the outing. Rea struck out 5 and walked none. Philadelphia got a run back in the 8th and threatened for more with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but Caleb Thielbar struck out pinch hitter Alec Boehm to end the inning. Kyle Schwarber extended his on-base streak to 15 games with a 1-out single in the inning. Kelly made it a 6-run advantage with his first homer of the season in the 9th off Tanner Banks. Phillies starter Aaron Nola lasted 5 innings, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits. Cubs left-handed pitcher Shoto Imanaga, who is 0-1 and has a 2.81 ERA, opposes Phillies left-handed pitcher Jesus Luzardo, who is 1-2 with a 6.23 ERA on Wednesday night in the rubber game of the 3-game series. St. Louis Cardinals rookie J.J. Weatherholt homered twice. Second baseman Juan Brito allowed Mason Wynn's potential game-ending grounder to bounce into right field, and St. Louis stopped a 3-game losing streak when it rallied to beat the Cleveland Guardians 6-5 in 10 innings on Tuesday night. Weatherhold had his first multi-homer game, going deep for the first time since homering in his debut on opening day. His solo homer off Joey Cantillo tied the score at 2-2 in the third, and his 2-run drive against Eric Zabrowski cut the Cardinals' deficit to 5-4 in the eighth. With 2 outs in the ninth, the win reached when his 2-hopper hit off Brito's left wrist for just the 6th error by Cleveland this season. Wynn advanced on Cade Smith's wild pitch and scored on Yohel Pozo's opposite field double that bounced to the right center field wall. Riley O'Brien pitched a perfect 10th, stranding automatic runner Chase DeLauder at third when Brito grounded out. Automatic runner Thomas Ajacey advanced to third in the bottom half on a wild pitch by Tim Herron and scored with a head-first slide, just beating the throw from right fielder Angel Martinez on Nathan Church's sacrifice fly. Ivan Herrera hit his first home run this season for St. Louis, which improved to 4-0 in extra innings with its 7th comeback win. Jose Ramirez hit a first-inning homer off Michael McGreevy, and with 288 moved past Bernie Williams and Bobby Bonilla into sole possession of 11th place among switch hitters. Cleveland opened a 5-2 lead in the 8th on George Valera's tie-breaking double and Martinez's 2-run double. Cleveland right-handed pitcher Slade Caccioni goes against St. Louis right-handed pitcher Dustin May on Wednesday. Jimmy Snuggerud scored twice and assisted on both of Dylan Holloway's goals in the third period as the St. Louis Blues rallied from a 3-goal deficit to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 7-5 on Tuesday night. Pittsburgh raced out to a 3-0 lead in the first period despite resting most of its regular players, including Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, with the playoffs looming this weekend. The Blues surged ahead with 5 consecutive goals in a span of just over 20 minutes, with Holloway and Pavel Buchnevich scoring 44 seconds apart in the third period. Holloway gave St. Louis its first lead 4 minutes and 11 seconds into the third on a wrister from the slot to the stick side against Artur Silovs, who relieved Stuart Skinner for the third period and made 7 saves. Buchnevich added a breakaway goal for his 19th of the season. Rookie Avery Hayes scored twice for his second career multi-goal game, and the Penguins also got goals from Rutger McGroarty, Anthony Mantha, and Elmer Soderblom. Hayes' second goal pulled Pittsburgh within 1 goal with 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play. Holloway added an empty netter to secure the Blues' win in their home finale. Jordan Binnington had 18 saves. Stuart Skinner stopped 17 of 21 shots before getting pulled after St. Louis scored 3 times in the second period. The Penguins scored on 3 of their first 6 shots despite resting half of their regular lineup. In addition to Crosby and Malkin, Eric Carlson, Chris Letang, Ricard Raquel, Brian Rust, Samuel Girard, Blake Lizotti, Connor Dewar, and Parker Wotherspoon were scratched, with Pittsburgh already locked into its playoff position. St. Louis concludes its season Thursday night at playoff-bound Utah. Pittsburgh awaits a first-round playoff matchup against in-state rival Philadelphia. In scores from around the MLB last night, the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Baltimore Orioles 4-3, while the Detroit Tigers took down the Kansas City Royals 2-1. The Cincinnati Reds beat the San Francisco Giants 2-1, while the Washington Nationals beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-4. The LA Angels beat the New York Yankees 7-1, while the Atlanta Hawks took down the Miami Marlins 6-5. The Minnesota Twins shut out the Boston Red Sox 6-0, and the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Milwaukee Brewers 9-7 in 10 innings. The Houston Astros beat the Colorado Rockies 7-6, and the San Diego Padres took down the Seattle Mariners 4-1. The Athletics beat the Texas Rangers 2-1, and the LA Dodgers beat the New York Mets 2-1. In NBA scores from last night, the Charlotte Hornets beat the Miami Heat 127-126 in overtime, while the Portland Trail Blazers beat the Phoenix Suns 114-110. In NHL scores from last night, the Carolina Hurricanes beat the New York Islanders 2-1, while the Montreal Canadiens fell to the Philadelphia Flyers 4-2. The Boston Bruins shut out the New Jersey Devils 4-0, while the Washington Capitals beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-1. The Minnesota Wild took down the Anaheim Ducks 3-2, while the Colorado Avalanche beat the Calgary Flames 3-1. The Utah